According to the World Bank, over 80% of Nigerian adults have no meaningful investment outside of a savings account or undeveloped land. 8 out of 10. Which means that the wealth you see around you, between people who seem to be getting ahead and everyone else working just as hard and going nowhere, is not primarily an income gap, it is an asset gap. The people building wealth in Nigeria right now are not necessarily earning more than you. They are simply holding different things. They own assets. And assets do something that a salary alone can never do. They work while you sleep, they grow while you rest, and they compound while the naira continues to lose value around them. Today we are going through 10 specific assets that are building millionaires in 2026, not theory, not motivation, real assets, real platforms, and exactly how to start each one regardless of where you are right now. If you own nothing on this list, this video is the most important 10 minutes you will spend this year. Asset number 1, a skill that earns in dollars. This is the most powerful asset on this entire list, and it costs nothing to start except time and intention. In 2026, the dollar to naira exchange rate sits at 1,380 to $1, which means that any Nigerian earning even a portion of their income in dollars is operating with a structural advantage that no naira salary can match. Nigerian graphic designer earning $500 a month from foreign clients is earning the equivalent of $690,000 monthly, more than most corporate managers with 10 years of experience. A copywriter, a video editor, a web developer, a virtual assistant, a social media manager, a data analyst. These are not exotic skills. They are learnable in 3 to 12 months on platforms like Coursera, YouTube, and Udemy, many of them free. The asset is not the skill itself. The asset is the dollar earning capacity the skill creates. And unlike every other asset on this list, this one appreciates automatically every time the naira weakens, which in Nigeria's economic history has been consistently. Start here. Everything else on this list becomes easier once some of your income is in dollars. The truth, your naira salary has a ceiling set by someone else. Your dollar skill has a ceiling set only by you. Asset number 2, a money market fund, not a savings account, not a fixed deposit, a money market fund. In 2026, Nigerian money market funds are yielding between 20% and 26% annually, significantly above the current inflation rate, on platforms like Cowrywise, ARM Money Market Fund, Stanbic IBTC Money Market Fund, and Maristem. You can start with as little as $5,000. Your money remains liquid, accessible within 24 to 48 hours. And the underlying instruments are predominantly federal government of Nigeria Treasury, bills, and commercial paper, among the safest naira-denominated instruments available. This is your financial foundation, your emergency fund. Every naira sitting in a commercial bank savings account earning 4% while inflation runs at 24% is a naira quietly losing value. A money market fund reverses that equation immediately. If you own nothing else on this list today, open a money market fund account before this video ends. The truth, a savings account keeps your money safe from you. A money market fund keeps your money safe from inflation. Asset number 3, Nigerian Treasury bills and FGN bonds. The federal government of Nigeria issues treasury bills, short-term debt instruments, and bonds, long-term debt instruments that pay guaranteed naira returns backed by the full faith of the federal government. In 2026, Nigerian treasury bills are yielding between 19% and 23% depending on tenure, 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day options available. FGN bonds are yielding between 18% and 21% annually on longer tenures of 2 to 10 years. You can access these directly through the CBN's primary auction, through your commercial bank's investment desk, or through platforms like ARM and GTB, with minimum investment starting at $50,000 to $100,000 for most platforms. This is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is the Nigerian government paying you to lend them money at rates that beat inflation. That is the entire point. 500,000 naira in a one-year treasury bill at 21% generates 105,000 in guaranteed returns in 12 months. Reinvested consistently over 10 years, that same 500,000 with annual additions of 200,000 grows to approximately 8.9 million. The truth, boring instruments held consistently build more wealth than exciting ones held nervously. Asset number 4, Nigerian stock market equities. The Nigerian Exchange Group, the NGX, lists over 150 companies across banking, consumer goods, telecommunications, cement, agriculture, and energy. And across 10-year periods, the NGX All-Share Index has consistently outpaced inflation for patient investors. In 2025, The NGX All-Share Index delivered returns of over 37% for the full year. These are not speculative bets. They are real Nigerian businesses generating real profits and paying real dividends to shareholders. You can open a stockbroking account with Stanbic IBTC Stockbrokers, Lead Trader Plus, or United Capital. Minimum investment varies, but most platforms accept starting amounts of $5,000 to $50,000. For beginners, a Nigerian equity mutual fund, which pools your money with other investors and is managed professionally, is the most accessible entry point. And invested monthly in a Nigerian equity mutual fund averaging 22% annual returns over 10 years grows to approximately 8.7 million. That is, and 6.3 million of returns built by the Nigerian economy working on your behalf. The truth, you do not need to understand every company to own a piece of Nigeria's economic growth. You just need to start. Asset number 5. A dollar-denominated investment. This is asset protection at the currency level. The naira has lost over 70% of its value against the dollar in the last 5 years. Any Nigerian whose entire wealth is denominated in naira has been quietly losing ground against the global economy regardless of how disciplined they have been locally. In 2026, Nigerian platforms including RiseVest, Bamboo, Trove, and Chaka allow Nigerians to legally invest in U.S. stocks, ETFs, and dollar-denominated bonds directly from their phones. RiseVest's dollar fixed income portfolio has delivered between 10% and 15% annually in dollar terms, which translates to significantly higher naira returns when converted at prevailing exchange rates. Start with as little as $10. Build gradually. The goal is not to move all your money into dollars. It is to ensure that a meaningful portion of your growing wealth is protected from naira depreciation at the currency level. A Nigerian who invested $1,000, approximately $410, into a U.S. S&P 500 ETF through Bamboo in January 2021 had approximately $1,408 by end of 2025, plus the naira conversion gain from $410,000 to approximately $2,042,400 at 2026 exchange rates. The investment grew in dollar terms and more than quadrupled in naira terms. The truth: protect a portion of your wealth from the currency your government controls. Asset number 6. An income-generating digital asset. A YouTube channel, a newsletter, a digital course, a Substack, an e-commerce store, a WhatsApp-based business with a catalog. In 2026, digital assets that generate passive or semi-passive income are the most democratic wealth-building tools in human history. The barrier to entry is a smartphone and something worth sharing. The ceiling is unlimited. A Nigerian YouTube with 50,000 subscribers in a personal finance space generates approximately $300 monthly from AdSense alone, 414,000 naira, before brand deals, affiliate income, or digital product sales. A digital course on a skill you already have sold at 15,000 to 100 students annually generates 1.5 million naira from knowledge you already possess. The asset compounds differently from financial instruments. It compounds in audience, in authority, and in multiple income streams that can outlast any single employer or economic cycle. The truth: in 2026, if you have a skill, a smartphone, you have everything you need to build an asset that pays you indefinitely. Asset number 7. Income-generating real estate, not village land, not undeveloped plots sitting silently in Ondo State. Rental-generating property, a mini flat in Ojodu renting at $1,500,000 per year. A short-let studio apartment in Lekki generating $150,000 per day. These are assets that pay you every month regardless of what the stock market does. The entry point is higher than other assets on this list. A decent starter rental property in Lagos currently requires between millions. But the income it generates and its appreciation in naira terms makes it one of the most powerful long-term assets available to Nigerians who can reach that threshold. If you cannot yet afford a full property, real estate investment trusts, REITs, listed on the NGX allow you to own a fraction of income, generating real estate from as little as $5,000. Up to C right is one of the primary options currently listed. The truth: land that sits earns nothing. Property that houses people earns every single month. Asset number 8. A side business with scalable revenue, not a side hustle that trades your time for money. A business with systems, with the capacity to eventually run without requiring your constant presence. The distinction matters enormously. A freelancer selling their time is an employee without benefits. A business owner who has built a system, a product, a service delivered by others, a repeatable process, owns an asset. The business has value beyond the hours it takes to run it. It can be grown, it can be sold, it can outlast you. In Nigeria's 2026 economy, where formal employment is increasingly unstable and retrenchment is a quarterly headline, a side business is not a luxury. It is protective infrastructure. A small food production business, a logistics operation, an online retail store, a tutoring center with contracted teachers. These are assets that generate income and build equity simultaneously. Start with the problem you know how to solve better than most people around you. Build the system around that solution. That system is the asset, not the hours you put in. The truth, a job gives you income. A business gives you an asset. You need both, but only one of them belongs to you. Asset number 9, health and life insurance. This will surprise people on an asset list. But hear this carefully. One uninsured medical emergency in Nigeria can destroy 5 years of disciplined investing in a single week. A surgery, a prolonged illness, a sudden hospitalization. Without insurance, the only source of funds is your investment accounts. The same accounts you spent years building. A comprehensive health insurance plan in Nigeria typically costs between 150,000 and 900,000 plus per person annually. However, entry-level comprehensive and budget-friendly HMO plans, which still cover primary, secondary, and emergency care, can start as low as 30,000 to 60,000 per year, or roughly 4,000 to 10,000 per month. Insurance is not an investment, it is a protection of your investments. Asset number 10, financial knowledge. The asset that multiplies every other asset on this list. A person who understands compound interest, inflation, asset allocation, currency risk, and the difference between income and wealth will make better decisions with 100,000 than a financially illiterate person will make with 10 million. Books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Channels like this one. Financial advisors who charge for their time rather than earn commissions from what they sell you. Reading company annual reports. Understanding your own monthly cash flow with precision. These are not soft skills. They are the operating system that every other asset on this list runs on. The Nigerian who invested 1 hour a day for 12 months in financial education and then applied what they learned will outperform the Nigerian who earned twice as much and invested none of it in understanding how money actually works. The truth, every naira you invest in your financial education returns more than almost any other investment class over a lifetime. 10 assets, all of them accessible in Nigeria right now. Most of them you can start with under 50,000. All of them working together, building income, building protection, building growth, and building the kind of financial foundation that no single employer, no single economic crisis, and no single naira devaluation can completely destroy. The question is not whether these assets work, they do. The question is which ones you are going to own by the end of this year. Start with one, just one. Open the money market fund account. Enroll in the dollar skill course. Buy your first 10,000 in NGX equities. One asset. Today, not next month. Please note this video is educational content, not financial advice. Every investment carries risk. Do your own research. Understand your personal financial situation and consult a qualified financial advisor before making any significant investment decision. The figures shared here are based on publicly available 2026 market data and historical performance, which does not guarantee future results. Drop a comment and tell us where you are watching from. And tell us which of these 10 assets you already own and which one you are starting with. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet part of the community. Every week, real assets, real numbers, real decisions. The financial education Nigeria deserves. Told in stories we actually live. Don't just hustle, build wealth,